How to prevent pregnancy, birth control options, precautions and more. Becoming a mother is a gift that is coveted by most women at some or the other point in their lives. However, pregnancy is also a huge step in a woman's life and should not be treated lightly. The good news is that pregnancy is something that's within your control and can be avoided if you feel like you are not ready for it. Protective measures while having sex and common contraceptive methods are quite commonly used by responsible couples. Steps to avoid pregnancy naturally. Never indulge in sexual intercourse without protection. Choose wisely from among the various choices of contraceptives available. Sex during your menstrual cycle without protection must be avoided. Take proper initiatives to keep pregnancy at bay and curb practices such as pulling out before ejaculation, as there is no guarantee that sperm hasn't already reached your egg. Having sex without protection during the safe period can also prove to be trouble sometimes. Any missed calculations can, of course, get you pregnant. Refrain from bringing exposed genitals in close contact with your partner without protection, as there is a high chance that some sperm may end up fertilizing your egg. If you are already taking birth control pills, be regular, and try and ensure that you take them at the same time every day. When a man is sexually aroused, there is usually some discharge from the penis, known as precum or preejaculate, that betters the act of sex. Nevertheless, this discharge may contain sperm, so make sure that your partner does not touch your vagina right after touching his penis to avoid getting pregnant. Similarly, touching the vagina after handling or touching the condom can increase the risk of pregnancy, as any sperm attached to the condom can make their way to the egg in your uterus. Make sure that you don't stay engaged for too long after ejaculating, even if you are wearing a condom. There have been cases where the contents of the condom spill into the vagina as the penis goes flaccid after ejaculation. There are quite a few fruits and herbs which you can eat on a daily basis that will reduce your risk of pregnancy even if you have been careless with protection or birth control devices. Papaya is one such fruit. In case of crises such as torn condoms or missed pills, ensure you take a morning after or emergency pill that will stop you from getting pregnant. Steps to avoid pregnancy naturally. In case you are not a big fan of surgical or medical methods to avoid pregnancy, there are a few natural options by which you can still refrain from getting pregnant. The best place to start is to understand your body and to monitor your period. Since conception is largely governed by fertile periods in your cycle, your best bet is to make sure that on days where you are fertile, you either abstain from having sex altogether or use a method which reduces your chances of conception. Thereafter, you can have sex as normal on the days of your period defined as low risk. It is critical for you to understand your dates of ovulation, since a few days before, and a few days after ovulation are the days when you must exercise restraint or caution to ensure you don't get pregnant. Once you begin tracking, allow a few cycles to pass to establish a pattern. Pay attention to the signs your body gives you and make an informed decision thereafter. Listed below are some ways to help you prevent pregnancy naturally. 1. Assess your fertility. There are several measures you can try while assessing your fertility. For starters, you should understand what it means to be fertile. Having sex without protection any time between 5 days before ovulation and until the day you start ovulating again can get you pregnant. So the bottom line is you should not have sex without protection during this period. Once you understand what fertility is, you should also learn about ovulation. In a woman of reproductive age, the ovary releases an egg every month which travels down the fallopian tube. During this period, if the egg is met by a sperm, it could be fertilized and you could get pregnant. Once you have calculated all the necessary dates and the period when you can have sex without worry, natural contraception can work wonders. 2. Monitor your basal body temperature. To adopt this method, the first thing to do is to buy a basal thermometer. It's important to chart your basal temperature, the lowest temperature of your body while it is at rest, during the month for best results. During ovulation, your body tends to have slightly higher temperatures, which should also be an indicator of your peak time of fertility. A few points to remember would be to take your temperature first thing in the morning and then to stick to the same time every day. The accurate charting of your basal body temperature will give you proper results only after you have repeated the task for at least 3 months. The days when your body temperature seems higher than usual are the days when you should have protected sex, to avoid getting pregnant. 3. Check your cervical mucus. This is a rather tricky manner of avoiding a pregnancy, but done properly, it can help you get the results you desire. Cervical mucus is nothing but your usual vaginal discharge that changes several times during the month. To check, insert a couple of your fingers inside your vagina and swipe. You can also use cotton wool for the same. You should start checking on this mucus only after your period is over. The color, texture, consistency should be duly noted and changes properly charted to know when you are fertile. 4. Track your cycle on a calendar. Probably the most commonly used method there is, it starts with knowing your menstrual cycle. Track your period to understand the number of days your cycle lasts. When tracking, consider the day your period starts as day 1 of your cycle. It's important that you chart at least 8 to 9 cycles accurately to establish a pattern. Using this pattern, you can figure out the days on which you'll be fertile by subtracting 18 from the number of days in your shortest cycle or 11 from the number of days of your longest cycle. The date you find using either of the methods should be the day when your fertile period starts. Needless to say, having sex in that period without contraceptives could lead to pregnancy. 5. Apply what you find. Natural ways of contraception can never be the result of just one method. It's best to apply all the methods listed above together to get proper results. It must also be mentioned here that in case you get confused with the calculations, ensure that you use other methods of protection as a safety net. The whole idea of employing the above methods is to find your fertile period and avoid unprotected sex during those dates. Based on your calculations, you will understand which days you can have sex without protection and when to abstain or employ home remedies to avoid pregnancy. 20 Home remedies to avoid pregnancy. To those of you who are not enthusiastic about the idea of artificial or medical means of avoiding pregnancy, here are some natural pregnancy prevention methods that are not only effective but can be done right at home. Number 1. Blue Cohosh, papoose root, to avoid pregnancy. Blue Cohosh root promotes the production of 2 substances called oxytocin and saponin, which helps to induce uterine contractions, thereby prevents the chances of pregnancy. Other than preventing pregnancy, the herb is used to induce abortion in case if you didn't take any precautions during intercourse. How to use. Add a few pieces of blue cohosh in a cup of water and boil for 5 minutes. Strain and consume immediately. Women should continue drinking this tea until their periods start. Caution: blue cohosh should be consumed after consulting with your doctor. Also, more than 1 tablespoon of this herb is not recommended for women. Number 2. Wild carrots, jangli gajar, as home remedy. Wild carrot seed is a strong contraceptive herb if taken orally immediately after the sexual intercourse. The seed contains more potent anti-fertility agents which suppress the chances of pregnancy. The wild carrot seeds give a slippery effect to the uterus so that the egg cannot implant. How to use. Chew and swallow 1 teaspoon of jangli gajar seeds immediately after unprotected sex, later every day for a week. Number 3. Silphium, Indian cup plant. Silphium is an expensive herb coming from the fennel family, widely known for its natural contraceptive properties. The herb was used in the ancient days to prevent pregnancy as well as to induce labor. Silphium herb also helps to induce menstruation early. How to use. Make a juice with the extracts of the silphium seeds and consume after intercourse. You can put a small ball of wool soaked in the plant's juice in the vagina before and after the intercourse. Number 4. Cinnamon, dalchini, to avoid pregnancy. Cinnamon has been used by centuries to prevent pregnancy. Cinnamon helps to induce uterine contractions and thereby menstruation occurs. But, cinnamon does not provide you with an immediate effect. Instead, you should consume for a longer time. How to use. Make cinnamon tea by adding a few pieces of cinnamon into a cup of water. Boil well and consume daily. Regular intake helps you in birth control. Number 5. Indian lilac, neem, as home remedy. Several studies over neem concluded neem to be an effective herbal contraceptive which can be used by both men and women. Neem can be consumed in the form of oil, powder, and leaves for contraception. Neem oil is a very effective birth control option for females. Neem oil immobilizes the sperm cells within 20 to 30 seconds when contacting with the sperms. For men, neem tablets intake on a regular basis promotes reversible sterility. How to use. Procedure 1. Insert a cotton ball soaked in neem oil into the vagina 15 minutes before intercourse. Leave in there for up to 5 minutes to allow the vagina walls to get properly coated with the oil. Repeat the procedure after the intercourse for better results. Procedure 2. Inject a small amount of neem oil at the point where the uterus and fallopian tubes meet, which can stop the fertility for a full year in women. Number 6. Dried fig, angelica. Using dried fig for contraception is followed since ancient days. Fig also helps to increase the blood circulation in your body. Remember not to eat angelica in large quantities, which may upset your stomach badly. How to use. Eat 2 to 3 dried figs every day. Consume immediately after the intercourse for better results. Number 7. Buckwheat, Cohosh. Buckwheat is an extremely effective herb to prevent unwanted pregnancy. Rutin, one of the primary substance present in buckwheat, has anti-fertility properties which do not allow the uterus to implant. How to use. Eat buckwheat before and after intercourse. Consume 500 grams of buckwheat along with the daily meals. Another method is taking 500 mg rutin tablets before, after and post-ovulation till the period starts. Caution, avoid buckwheat if you are diabetic. Also, if you are allergic to gluten, don't eat buckwheat. Number 8. Ginger tea as home remedy to avoid pregnancy. Ginger is used for centuries as an effective natural way of birth control. Ginger helps to increase the heat within the body, which leads to an increase in the contraction of uterus muscles, which helps to induce the periods early. How to use. Add 5 to 6 pieces of fresh ginger to 250 ml of water. Boil the water until the amount reduced to half and the color turned to dark yellow. Strain the mixture and add 1 tablespoon of honey. Consume this ginger tea twice a day until your period begins. Best fruits to avoid pregnancy naturally. Number 9. Papaya as home remedy. 2. Papaya. This fruit is another versatile natural remedy that can help curb pregnancy. Consuming papaya in any form for at least 4 to 5 days after having unprotected sex will reduce your chances of getting pregnant. 3. Dried apricots. Consumption of dried apricots right after sex can provide excellent results in curtailing pregnancy. Dried apricots are best taken with honey and water. This pleasantly flavored beverage should be consumed for at least a week for best results. 7. Parsley. Warm some of this extraordinary herb in water and bring to a boil. The water can be drunk on its own or add a bit of sugar to add some flavor. 8. Angelica. This is also known as donkey. Consume this for at least a fortnight to expand your uterus and stimulate the contractions. 10. Cotton root bark. Dry this very effective root and mix it with hot tea or warm water and drink. It's advised to take this concoction for at least 7 days for best results. 12. Thistles. Used as a remedy by Quinault Indians, thistles are believed to be a contraceptive. Just boil thistles in water until the bitter taste is infused and drink it. 13. Indian or wild turnip. This is a medicinal plant whose root can be used to control pregnancy. Dried powder of the root should be mixed in 1/2 cup warm water and stored. Drinking it twice a day gives the desired results. 14. Queen Anne's lace. Also called wild carrots, these plants produce seeds which can be consumed in the form of tea, or even whole for contraception. However, they are best avoided if you have a kidney ailment or gallstones, or if you are breastfeeding. When you're trying to avoid pregnancy, choose a method or a combination of methods above to reduce the risk of a conception. Having said that, remember that no method is fail-safe. Sometimes, it might be best to combine both home remedies and the usual methods of protection to ensure that pregnancy is kept at bay.